What is the meaning of a changing subject? A changing subject means to write a letter like x equals 3y plus 1. Uh, if x equals 3y plus 1, so x is the subject. And if we have y equals 5x minus 3, for instance, so y is the subject. So the subject to write a letter or a variable in one side, and all terms, all the components on the other side. So if I have x equals y minus 5, and I want to make y the subject, so we can add 5 to both sides just to cancel minus 5 and 5. You left with y in this side, and in the left side you will get x plus 5. You can switch off sides. You can switch off sides and write y equals x plus 5. Okay. If I have something like x equals 3y minus 1, and I wanna make y the subject. So how can we make y the subject? We can switch off sides and write 3y minus 1 equals x. And I want to get rid of minus 1. So we can get rid of minus 1 by adding 1 to both sides. So 3y equals x plus 1. Till now, y is not the subject. To make y the subject, just divide by 3 all sides. So y equals, it's x plus 1 over 3. Rearrange this formula so that the indicated letter become the subject. So I want to make R the subject, and I have A equals pi R L. Pi multiplied by R multiplied by L. So how can we make R the subject? You know, A equals pi R L. That means pi is multiplied by R is multiplied by L. We can switch off sides firstly and write pi R L equals A. And I want to get rid of pi and L. You know, pi is multiplied by R multiplied by L. So to get R alone, to make R alone in this side, just divide by pi L. Divide by pi L. Just to cancel pi and cancel L, you left with R equals A over pi L. Now R is the subject. U equal V equals U plus AT. And I want to make U the subject. So we can switch off sides firstly and write U plus AT equals V. So we have two terms. The first term is U, it's called a term, and A multiplied by T together is a term, equals V. And to get rid of AT, this term, just subtract AT from both sides. So minus AT and minus AT. So AT and minus AT are going to be cancelled. You will get in this side U equals V minus AT. U now is the subject. Okay. I want to make A the subject. You know, it's the same rule, the same formula. And I want to make A. I want to let A to be the subject. So how can we write A in a side equals whatever term is in this side. But I want to make A in one side alone. So U plus AT. This is the right side and V in this side, the left side. So we can switch off sides and write U plus AT equals V. And because I want to make A to be the subject, so we want to get rid of U firstly this time. So how can we get rid of U? Just minus U in this side and minus U in this side. So you ended up with AT equals V minus U. And because I wanna get A in a side, so we need to get rid of T. So how can we get rid of T, and A is multiplied by T? So divide by T and divide by T. And AT divided by T, they are going to be cancelled. Then you will get in the left side A alone equals V minus U, all of them divided by T. Now A is the subject. I have V equals third multiplied by pi and R squared H. And I won't write H in one side. So I recommend to switch off sides to get H on your left hand side. So we can write 1/3 multiplied by pi R squared H equals V. Just I switched off sides. So how can we make H stand alone in this side? So firstly, I want to get rid of 1/3. So we can get rid of, if we multiply it by 3, both sides. So cancel 3 and 3. You ended up with by R squared H. And V multiplied by 3, it's 3V. 3V. Okay. How can we make H a subject? And I have pi multiplied by R squared multiplied by H. So divide both sides by pi R squared. So divided by pi R squared and divided by pi R squared. You know, when dividing by pi R squared, you will cancel pi and pi, and R squared is going to be cancelled with R squared. You will get at the end, H alone equals 3V over pi R squared. That's it. Now H is the subject. E equals MC squared. I want to make M to be the subject. So, you know, I have MC squared equals E. Just I switch it over the sides. And I want to make M the subject. So I want to get rid of C squared. And M is multiplied by C squared. So divide by C squared both sides. Just to cancel them out, you left with M in this side equals E over or divided by C squared. So we can write it as M equals E divided by C squared. M equals E divided by C squared, or M equals E over C squared. I want to make X the subject. So we can switch off sides, just write for X on our left hand side plus 3 equals Y. Firstly, I want to get rid of 3. So subtract 3 from both sides, minus 3 and minus 3. So 4x equals y minus 3. What is the next step? I want to get rid of 4, and 4 is multiplied by x, so divide by 4 both sides. So we will end up with x equals y minus 3. All terms in this side are going to be divided by 4. So x now is the subject. X equals y minus 3, all of them divided by 4. Y equals x over 5 plus 3. So x plus 5 over 3 equals y. I want to make x to be the subject. So the first step to cancel 3 by subtracting 3 from both sides. So x over 5 equals y minus 3. What is the next step? Because x is divided by 5, and I want to cancel this 5 which is written down. So multiply by 5 both sides, just to cancel this 5 and this 5, to get x alone. So x equals, and 5 is multiplied by y and minus 3. So it's 5 multiplied by y minus 3. Don't say 5y, because some students get confused and write 5y. No, 5 multiplied by y minus 3. So we write it as x equals 5 multiplied by y minus 3, or we can expand as x equals 5y minus 15. That's it. And this one, I have y in a side, and on the right side, I have x plus 3 over 5. I want to make x the subject. So we can switch off sides and write x plus 3 over 5 equals y. Okay? Because x plus 3, we deal with it as one term. All of them, okay, x plus 3, divided by 5. So the first step to cancel this 5. How can you cancel this 5? So multiply by 5, both sides, just to cancel it. You ended up with x plus 3 in this side equals, and y multiplied by 5, it's 5y. And because I wanna write x in one side, so we need to cancel plus 3 by subtracting minus 3 from both sides. So x equals 5y minus 3. That's it. For this one, you can do it. You can pause the video and do it. I want to make H the subject, so we can switch off sides and write half BH equals A. What is the next step? I want to cancel this half, 1 over 2. So multiply by 2 both sides, times 2 and times 2, just to cancel them out. You left with BH, and A multiplied by 2, it's 2A. Okay, then because I wanna write H alone, so divide by B, divide by B. Okay, cancel them out, B and B. So H equals 2A over B. H equals 2A over B. That's it. The next one. For this one, I have E equals MC squared, and I want to make C to be the subject. So it's C squared. We can switch off sides and write MC squared equals E. Okay. And divide by M, because I want to leave C in this side. So we will write c squared equals e over m. And to get c, I have c squared. So as you know, to get c, just take the square root of e over m. So, and by taking the square root of any value, like x squared equals 25, in this case, we write x equals positive or negative square root of 25. So x equals positive or negative 5. I explained it in the previous sessions. But in this case, we write only the positive square root because this equation we know it as E equals M. M is always positive and C is always positive. So C equals the square root of the value E over M because C squared equals E over M. So C only equal the square root of E over M. Uh, I wanna make the letter written in bold, which is A, to be the subject. And I have this equation, v squared equals u squared plus 2as. I want to make a to be the subject. So switch of sides, u squared plus 2as equals v squared. Okay, focus again on what is the letter you want to write it as a subject. And you should know well that I have two terms written uh, in the left side, okay, and I have one term exist in the right side. So I want to cancel u squared. So subtract minus u squared from both sides. When subtracting u squared from both sides, you will get 2as equals v squared minus u squared. What is the next step? I want to get rid of 2a. So how can we get rid of 2a and they are multiplying together? So divide by 2a and divide by 2a. Both sides cancel 2 and 2, cancel a and a. Then s equals s now is written alone. S equals v squared minus u squared over 2a. S now is the subject. This one, let's analyze it. It's a equals pi r multiplied by the square root of p plus q. And I want to make p the subject. So switch of sides firstly, so write pi r multiplied by p plus q equals a. You should know well, and you should be familiar with the components, the letters written on the left. They are multiplying together. It's pi times r times the square root of p plus q. So I wanna make p the subject. So we need to get rid of pi r. So divide by pi r. Divide by pi r, both sides. Okay? So pi is going to be cancelled. Pi and r and r. You left with the square root of p plus q equals a over pi r. But I have a problem now, which is I'm having a square root of p plus q. So we can square both sides because I'm having square root of p plus q in a side equals a over pi r. Just to get rid of this square root. So by squaring both sides, and what is the meaning of squaring both sides? Squaring both sides to square the left side, raise it to the power of 2, and the right side, we will raise it to the power of 2, okay, as you see. And squaring in square root, I don't care what is written inside the square root. I don't care what is written inside the square root. I don't care about p plus q. So squaring the square root of p plus q, you will get p plus q without a square root. And squaring all terms on this side, it will be a squared over pi squared r squared. Okay. I want to get p alone. So how can we get p alone in this side? And I have q on this side. Q is added to p. So minus q and minus q from both sides. So p now is standing alone in this side equals a squared over pi squared r squared minus q. That's it. Let's go to this one, and I'm having a fraction, okay, equals a fraction. I want to get a, I want to make a as the subject, to be the subject. So we can do cross multiplying. So a multiplied by 2c, it's 2ac equals b multiplied by a, it's b, and b multiplied by 1 is b. You know what I did? Once again, what I did cross multiplying. I multiplied a by 2c, it's 2ac, and I multiplied b by a plus 1. So b times a, it's ab or ba. There is no difference. ab equals ba. They are the same. And I want to get a. So we have two a's in this side and in this side. I have a and a. So subtract AB from both sides, or move AB to the next side as we used to do in solving equations. So we can subtract minus AB and minus AB. Okay, so you'll get at the end 2AC minus AB equals B alone. And because I want to get A alone, you remember factorizing by taking the highest common factor. So what is the factor? It's A. Okay, and you'll open brackets, you left with, because I've taken A as a factor, you left with 2C minus B. They are multiplying. A is multiplied by 2C minus B. And if you expand it, you will get, if you multiply the A by 2C, it's 2AC. And if you multiply the A by minus B, it's minus AB equals B. Now I have A, and A is multiplied by all terms in this expression. So we can divide by all of them, 2C minus B as a whole chunk. So we can divide by 2C minus B. Both sides divided by 2C minus B. You know, because dividing by 2C minus B leads to cancel 2B minus C, 2C minus B with 2C minus B. Then on the left, you will get A equals B over 2C minus B. That's it. Now A is the subject. Let's try the last one. And we will follow the same steps because I have a fraction equals a fraction. So I recommend using cross multiplication. I multiply 2 by 1. 2 times 1, it's 2. And 2 times 2r, it's 4r. I multiply 1 by 1 minus t. So uh, multiply 1 by 1 or multiply 2 by 1 plus 2r equals 1 multiplied by 1 minus 2. I did cross multiplying then. 2 multiplied by 1, it's 2. And 2 times 2r, it's 4r. Equals 1 times 1, it's 1. You know, I'm expanding. And 1 multiplied by minus t, it's minus t. Okay. What is the next? I want to write t in a side alone. So we can switch off sides and write 1 minus t equals 2 plus 4r. And I want to get rid of this 1 to make t alone. So minus 1 and minus 1. Cancel 1 and minus 1. You left with minus t. You know minus t means? Minus t means minus 1 multiplied by t. Okay? Equals 2 plus 4r minus 1. And you know that 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1 equals 1. So instead of writing 2 minus 1, we will write 1 plus 4r. What is the next step? I want to get rid of this minus, this negative. So divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1 all sides. Or multiply by negative 1. Okay? So when dividing by negative 1 or multiplying by negative 1, just because when we multiply by negative 1, negative times negative positive, and 1 times t, it's t. And multiply all terms in this side by negative 1. Okay? So it will be minus 1 times 1, it's minus 1. And minus 1 multiplied by 4r, it will be minus 4r. That's it. See you in the coming episodes. Goodbye.